First year, second semester students, this is Srinivas, your pathophysiology lecturer. Today I would like to explain urinary tract infection. In this topic, I would like to cover the following side headings: introduction, etiology, clinical manifestations, pathogenesis, pathological changes, and diagnosis. So here urinary tract consists two kidneys, two ureters, one urinary bladder, one urethra. So coming to introduction, in this I would like to cover the following terms which are related to this topic. Bacteria. Presence of excess bacterial load in the urine is called bacteria. Funguria. Presence of abnormal fungus in the urine is called funguria. Asymptomatic bacteria. In this bacteria is there but there was no symptoms. That is called asymptomatic bacteria. Cystitis. Inflammation of bladder is called cystitis. Acute pyelonephritis. So here pyelo means ureter, nephra means kidney, itis means inflammation. This is the inflammatory condition of the ureter and kidney is called pyelonephritis. And relapse. Reoccurrence of disease called relapse. Reinfection. So getting off secondary infection even in presence of the primary infection. Coming to the etiology, so the major causative factors are E. coli, Staphylococcus, Saprophyticus, Klebsiella, Proteus mirabilis. And another thing is holding of urine for a longer period and dirty bathrooms are the reasons for this disease and risk factors. So these conditions, these persons are easily get infections. Those who are having renal stones and kidney tumors and urethral constriction, diabetes mellitus, those who are having surgery, these persons easily get infection. Coming to the classification, it can be classified into acute and chronic. In acute cases, usually bladder and urethra will be affected. That's why it is called cystourethritis. So in this case, we will observe frequent painful micturition, bacteria, pyuria, and a sensation of urination without urine is called anuria. And here the person exhibits symptoms like perineum and loin pain and chills, fevers, leukocytosis. In chronic cases, pyelonephritis will be observed. That means acute infection will migrate to upward. This lead to pyelonephritis. And next one is these persons exhibit polyuria, weight loss, anemia, hypertension, and vomiting. Coming to the host defense mechanism, our body also having inherently some defensive mechanism against the urinary tract infection. So these are urination. The flow of urine will physically remove the bacteria present in the tract. And next one is peristalsis of the ureter. The peristaltic movements also removes the bacteria. And vesicourethral valve. This valve also physically closes the entry point. So the external bacteria may not enters into this area, and male prostate secretions also having some antibiotics against these bacteria. And dilute or concentrated urine or low pH of urine are unfavorable for the bacterial growth. Ureomucoid layer also contain immunoglobulins that fight against the pathogens. Coming to the urinary tract infection pathogenesis. So here females are more encounter this type of infection compared to male because their anatomical location. So here bowel is very near to the urethra. So that's why they are frequently get this type of infection. And presence of bacterial flora, pH also favorable the multiplication of these bacteria depends upon host mechanisms. So the infection will be spread. So initially the infection enters via urethra into the bladder within 2 to 3 days. So later it will replicate within the urinary bladder mucosal layers. So due to this replication, the bladder cell will get apoptized, programmed cell death. Due to death, these cells are removed by the immune system so that they will attract neutrophils. Neutrophils releases some of the inflammatory mediators. This will initiate pain and burning sensation in the bladder. So if it is repeated, this infection will migrate to kidney or ascend to kidney. So this will become chronic. where it will produces a patches of necrotic area or inflammatory area. So during this, inflammatory mediators are released like IgM, IgG, cytokinins, and leukocyte count also increases. And pathological changes in acute pyelonephritis, chronic pyelonephritis, what are the changes? Gross changes and microscopic changes. In coming to gross changes, there is enlargement of kidney with yellow or white abscess with hemorrhagic lines will be observed on kidney. Microscopic changes, if you observe on the microscope, there is a patchy inflammation we will be observed with the neutrophils infiltration and tubular destruction. In case of pyelonephritis, this will be observed upon repeated attack. Vesico-urethral reflex will be absent or obstructive pyelonephritis will be observed. There was a gross changes like shrinkage of whole kidney will be observed. Here enlargement of kidney, here shrinkage will be observed upon chronic pyelonephritis. Microscopic changes. In this, there was a macrophasic infiltration along with plasma cells and necrotic cells will be observed under microscope. Coming to symptoms. So here the classical symptoms are exhibited by the adults: urinary urgency, dysuria, hemorrhage, fever, low in pains are the classical symptoms. Such symptoms are absent. They will exhibit a different symptoms in case of infants or newborns. They will exhibit emesis, fever, diarrhea, inhibition of growth. In case of children, those who are having more than 2 years, they will exhibit frequent urination, dysuria, hematuria, and vomiting. In case of geriatrics, these symptoms are considered as asymptomatic because due to old age, these symptoms are normally present. We cannot differentiate these symptoms with urinary tract infection. Thank you.